This is Jollibee, and the story of how the local Filipino chain went head-to-head with the biggest fast food chain in the world, McDonald's, and they actually won. It all began in 1975 with the 22-year-old Tony Tan Caktiong who opened an ice cream parlor in Cubao, Quezon City. He was born to Chinese immigrant parents, and growing up, he helped in the kitchen of his father's restaurant, and the skills he learned there would pay off big time later on. Fast forward, he graduates with a degree in chemical engineering from the prestigious University of Santo Tomas, but he decides to pursue entrepreneurship instead. As he opened his ice cream shop, he focused on providing great service to gain an edge on his competitors. Little things such as keeping the place clean and serving bigger scoops were enough to keep the customers returning. Later on, the two ice cream outlets operated by Tan's family began offering hot meals and sandwiches upon request from the customers, which the family found out to be more popular than a franchise ice cream. One of these sandwiches was the iconic Yum Burger, which later on became an integral part of Jollibee's menu and contributed significantly to the brand's popularity. In 1978, they fully converted the ice cream parlors into fast food outlets, naming the restaurant Jollibee. The name was inspired by combining the words Jolly and Bee. The decision to incorporate Jolly reflected the family's desire to create a happy and joyful atmosphere in their restaurants, while the addition of Bee was chosen to symbolize hard work and industry. Jollibee was thriving around this time, having 8 branches by 1979. However, things were about to soon change as the corporate giant knocked on Asia's door. American fast food chain McDonald's was the biggest fast food chain in the world, and by 1971, it had already opened 1,000 locations across several countries. This time, their eyes were set on conquering the Asian market to continue its global expansion. In the 70s, they had opened their first branch in Asia, in Tokyo, Japan. Tony Tan Caktiong and his family were taking note, and they realized that things could be over for them soon. Facing tough competition and the likely possibility of being overshadowed by the global giant, Tony Tan Caktiong reportedly contemplated closing down Jollibee around 1979, a decision in which his family advised him to. His family and consultants even told him to just start a McDonald's franchise instead. But instead of folding to the pressure, Tony Tan Caktiong had another idea: confront the competition head-on. This is his David versus Goliath moment, a small, local restaurant taking on the world's biggest fast food chain. He had 2 years before McDonald's enters the Philippine market. Within this time, he focused on strengthening his brand to the Filipinos. He analyzed McDonald's strengths and weaknesses, even copying some of the menus such as their world-famous fries. But he had an original strategy up his sleeve that will give the edge to Jollibee's unique menu, which is catered to the local taste. Around this time, Jollibee introduces the Jolly Spaghetti, a sweet spaghetti that uses banana ketchup instead of tomato sauce. And yes, this might be foreigners' least favorite item on the menu, but this is how Filipinos love their spaghetti. And this played a pivotal role in establishing Jollibee as a beloved brand. Furthermore, 1 year before McDonald's entry into the Philippines, Jollibee introduces their most iconic menu item of all time, the world-famous chickenjoy, and it was an instant hit, becoming its flagship item and becoming synonymous with the Jollibee brand. In 1981, McDonald's officially entered the Philippine market, marking the beginning of its presence in the country. The entry of McDonald's into the Philippines introduced strong competition for local players, particularly Jollibee, which by this time had already established itself as a leading fast food chain in the country. Around this time, how was McDonald's doing? Well, McDonald's wasn't failing at all. It was just struggling to become number 1 as it was globally. Why? Because as good as their food was, its flavors weren't catered for the Filipino taste, and soon they would realize this. McDonald's later on copied Jollibee's strategy, introducing the McSpaghetti and Chicken McDo as a response. This was around 1985. They were already 7 years too late. Jollibee was the leading fast food chain, and as McDonald's was aggressively implementing expansion strategies, the competition between McDonald's and Jollibee became more than just a battle for market share. It had cultural implications, and because of this, McDonald's simply lost in the battle to be number 1. Jollibee became known for its catchy jingles, heartwarming commercials, and the introduction of the beloved Jollibee mascot, which added a unique and memorable element to its brand. Every Filipino before and today has had some type of fond memory with Jollibee. Whether it was celebrating a birthday or just simply eating there after church on Sundays, all Filipinos have this emotional attachment to the beloved brand. And although McDonald's was still popular, this competitive edge allowed Jollibee to maintain its position as the leading fast food brand in the Philippines. Today, Jollibee has over 1,400 stores in the country, and Tony Tan Caktiong is one of the richest men in the Philippines, with a net worth of over $1.3 billion. Besides that, as millions of Filipinos migrated from the Philippines to other countries in previous decades, the cravings for Jollibee never stopped. Jollibee opened more and more stores abroad, from Dubai to New York, with queue lines so crazy that people stay overnight and camp outside the Jollibee store. This is how much the restaurant means to us Filipinos. It isn't just a restaurant, it is a staple of our culture. For the millions of overseas Filipino workers, it somewhat eases the longing of missing home and brings back nostalgia of the good old times they had growing up. This is why they are willing to camp for days in long lines just to sense that feeling again. This is the reason why McDonald's simply lost in the Philippines, because Jollibee is already number one in the people's hearts. No matter how far Filipinos go and settle around the world, Jollibee will always be a sweet reminder of home.